All right, did that work? Come on, YouTube, pull through for me. There it is. All right. I think I did it. I think I successfully killed the stream for 2 minutes and brought it back. There's an extra step involved in streaming to YouTube that's not there streaming to Twitch. All right. Party names, I guess, is the next thing on the agenda. McLean had organized all the names for us. I guess I'm going to scroll up and see what he uncovered. Looks like the fighter is Ziza, which is pretty good. Gonna have a red mage who will be Corey. White mage. I'm gonna go with Noah. And the blue mage. Zoc. Zoc is like an excellent blue mage name. Okay. I need to get my spell lists and things here. And let's get this party started. I don't want to buy a hammer. Don't want one. Don't need one. Red mage can wear chain armor, right? Yeah, I thought so. All right, with 200 gold, we are going to buy fire and cure. Let me put my names in the list here now that I know what they are. So I just have a text file here that has all the stuff that I need to purchase over the course of the game. And now let's go outside and earn 10 gold so we can stay at the inn. So I guess I'll get all the treasures as we go through the game. It's been a minute since I've seen this particular layout in Final Fantasy 1. I play so much Final Fantasy 1 randomizer that seeing like separate boxes for the monsters and the heroes is kind of absurd. Alright, I need to make sure to open every treasure box in the game. That's one of the... Oh, I can update my page too, actually. Haha! For Final Fantasy 1 NES, begin playing. Check. Love it. You'll love to see it. Let's go kill Garland. So I gotta set a special directory on my hard drive where I can put a copy of all my almost perfect saves. That's my plan. So in this game, once you buy a magic spell for a character, the character has the magic spell forever, cannot learn it, and it uses up one of 3 slots per character per spell level. So because there are 3 slots in a character's magic inventory per spell level, but 4 spells per level per magic set, it means no wizard can ever learn the entire set of magic. Our black mage can learn any 3 of the 4 level 1 spells, but can never learn the 4th one. So the red mage's job is to get as many of those spells in his list as possible. And I guess also later tonight, I'll make sure I set up a playlist with the whole Final Fantasy IV playthrough so you guys can enjoy it on your own terms or somebody else's terms. You know, whatever terms you got access to. Good things Garland is terrible and he missed my black mage. So if you see multiple stats pop up like that when they level up, that means they got a strong level up. If you only see like one stat pop up, it means they got a weak level up. And if you really wanted to min-max the game, one of the things you'd have to do is save scum every level up. Save before you level up, then do the level up and see if it was strong. And if it was, you can save it. Otherwise, you have to reset and level up again. So 306 gold. Let's buy a couple of items to get us rolling. Just in case. And we will get Corey his first spell, which is also Cure. Then I think we'll save the game and go loot the Temple of the Fiends. I think I want to loot as I go to make absolutely sure I don't miss anything. So we'll actually get the treasures out of dungeons as we play through them. But I still will be playing the dungeons mostly out of order. Ooh, maybe not the Ice Cave. Or the Marsh Cave. Or any of the other dungeons. Looting dungeons as you go is a bad idea. But looting this dungeon right now is a good idea because what we're going to get are a few pieces of armor. At least I think I'm streaming. I see my preview up. It says concurrent viewers 0. Maybe everybody just left after Final Fantasy IV. I wouldn't blame you. This game's really boring. YouTube's weird because not only do I got to push the stream button in OBS, but I also have to go into the YouTube interface and click a button there as well to make the stream live. Spider? Oh, you know what? Let me re-pop out the chat. Maybe that's it. Maybe the chat pop out. There. Okay, yeah, I see it now. I had the chat window popped out, but that apparently ended when I ended the stream. It still says concurrent viewer 0, though. So that's still strange. Hi, chat. How are you guys? I can turn up the game audio a little bit, yeah. Let me know if that's better, or if that's too loud, or what the haps is. So we'll put about 90 minutes into this game tonight. This is a big battle. Let's do this. Make sure to get rid of the imp first. It's been a long time since I've done just a vanilla run of Final Fantasy 1 with a white mage. White mage, I think, is the worst class in the game in a full party run, because you just, if you're playing properly, you never need white magic, really. The only thing a white mage can really do for you is offer some insurance with the life spell. But they can't, help you kill monsters. The white mage is very difficult to kill themselves because they have the ruse spell, and a solo white mage game I think is very interesting. But in a party, I would rather even have a thief, because a thief eventually becomes a ninja. I think what keeps this game from being properly balanced is just there's so many bugs. There's so much stuff that just doesn't work at all. We have the his intelligence is 10 and his intelligence is 21, but intelligence doesn't do anything at all. Red mage and black mage have exactly the same spells that do exactly the same things at exactly the same power. You would expect the black mage to do more damage with the same spells, but he doesn't. Because they just forgot to make intelligence work. It just doesn't factor into the spell algorithms at all. So magic just across the board is really bad in this game. When it's supposed to be good, it just never is. I'm not going to say never. There's some spots where damage spells are very useful, just because they can multi-target. But it's very clear that spells are supposed to do a lot more damage than they do. And that becomes very apparent when you play the remakes, when that intelligence stat does actually do something. And your black mage is like, oh, I can cast this fire spell, and it's actually good now. Like, it's not just 30 damage for using up a spell slot. But we will be buying all of the useless spells that don't do anything. In Dawn of Souls and other remakes of this game, your intelligence actually does work. Now I'm going to buy another spell now. Who gets sleep? Zoc gets sleep. No, I'm going to buy Lit for Zoc. Alright, let's go kill some pirates. Murder is wrong since when? I don't think there's any evidence to support that. I got myself an ice cold delicious Pepsi, but I did not open it yet. Is there a more beautiful sound on earth? I ask you. Oh, so tasty. Man, it does feel weird to be playing a slow-paced version of this game after years and years and years of randomizer. We don't need to loot Matoya's cave yet. We'll just get her stuff when we go up there to get to deliver the crystal. Bridge, 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 bridge. Hope y'all enjoyed the song that I wrote about this bridge. It was called Bridge. Brick Road, why are you playing the NES version of this game and not the MSX version? Well, why indeed? I've done that, Cartomojo, and when I've done vanilla runs of this game on stream, I've used that ROM in the past. But for the almost perfect save, the one and only choice has to be the vanilla, unedited version of the ROM. I could not sleep at night if I used anything else. Technically, I'd like to be playing this on hardware, but I don't have a way to stream from my NES. So, next best thing. Iguana? I don't know why I'm choosing lit over fire. I don't actually think it matters in this fight. Yeah, we're going to do the PSP version of 1 and 2. Because 1 actually has bonus content that Dawn of Souls doesn't have. What's my money situation look like? 163, so we're not buying anything yet. We're just going to hit the end. Move it. I think I just like Lit's animation more. Well, whatever the Arcane Labyrinth is, we'll figure it out when we get there. I think the PSP version uses MP because it's based on Dawn of Souls. I know Origins keeps the spell charges, but Dawn of Souls and everything since uses MP. The iOS version of this game used MP, and I've played through that, and I think the PSP is another progression of that. $473. I don't care about magic here yet, but we will buy new swords. Guess we can sell the rapiers. This is a big fight. I think we'll take these guys all down. We're right here by the inn, so... Ziza should be getting 2 hits with the scimitar. No, I guess not. Not yet. I much prefer having magic points to spell charges in this game. It's not even a competition for me. Magic points is just superior. Because then you're not in a situation where you're like, well, I can't cast Fire 3, because if I do, I can't cast Warp afterwards, or whatever. Like, there are some spell levels in this game that are really important, and there are some spell levels that just don't matter at all. And you're tapped. You're tapped, buddy. See, even D&D nowadays, you can cast a spell of its own level or of using any higher level slot. So you're never in a situation where like, oh, I want to cast a level 2 spell, but I'm out of level 2 slots. Whatever will I do? That'd be a cool system in this game. Like if you try to cast a spell from a level with 0 slots, it automatically uses the slot above if it's available. And scales up, perhaps. Like there's only one fire spell, but you pick what level to cast it at. Would be an interesting system. That's a decent amount of gold, actually. I'm not gonna buy anything because I need this gold. Actually, I'm gonna buy Lit 2. I mean, inefficient use of magic points is the least of Final Fantasy II troubles. I do have one peer, so one guy can get bit by this snake, and it's okay. The terrible dungeon layouts are probably what make the game less fun to play than it otherwise would have been. But the character advancement system and how completely opaque it is also make it completely unfun to play. Like it's like a double whammy of both of those things. Like, either one of those things would make the game really a chore to play through. I will burn the blue wolf. Maybe I'll find a way to make time throughout the year as we advance in this project to play through, do some randomizer streams. Seems like it might be appropriate. I ran a Twitch incentive for a while. Like if we ever got to a certain level of viewers on Twitch, I would do an Oops All Edwards seed of Final Fantasy IV free enterprise, but we never actually got that many viewers. It was sad. It was just a sad day. They withhold information about enemy tiers. So Final Fantasy II, you reach a plateau in each area of the game. In order to level up, you've got to be fighting enemies of a certain tier. And if you fight enemies at lower tiers, you're just wasting your time. That's where you end up having to cast the same spell 100 times to level it up. If you're fighting tier 1 enemies, that's the case. If you fight against tier 8 enemies, you don't have to cast it nearly that many times. But the game never tells you this. never gives you any indication that monsters have tiers at all, except in the remakes you can look in the bestiary and it tells you a monster's rank, 1 to 8, but doesn't give you any indication of what that means or whether it's useful information. So, except for just some vague idea that you should fight stronger monsters to get stronger, there's no indication in Final Fantasy II that you should be fighting stronger monsters at all. Whereas in this game, stronger monsters give you more experience points and you have more incentive to fight them. No, monsters don't have tiers in this game. It's not the same thing. This is not like the same thing with two different names. In this game, each monster has an amount of experience points that it gives you, and the game informs you of that every time you kill that monster. I know right now in this game, based on no information other than the 30 minutes I've been playing it so far, that fighting imps is no longer worthwhile. I cannot get stronger by fighting imps anymore. The game has already provided me clear feedback. Hey man, don't waste time on imps. It's time to move on to sharks and ogres and other kinds of stuff. In Final Fantasy II, not only does the game not provide you that feedback, but the first 5 or 6 story missions of the game have you fighting tier 1 monsters exclusively. So you reach that plateau super quickly, and then you still have a couple story dungeons to fight through with just these same weak monsters where you're not seeing any appreciable level gains. So the game isn't training you in any particular direction on how to fight monsters to get stronger. You might notice when you do start hitting the rank 2 and higher monsters, like in the ice cave, like the treasure box monster you fight there, I think is a little higher, and when you go to Kashuan Keep, they're a little higher still. You might notice that your characters are gaining stats and spell levels a little bit faster, but the feedback isn't clear. The feedback is very murky. You can draw any number of inferences from what's happening at that point in the game. So no, I reject the idea that it's the same thing as having monsters with experience points. I own Final Fantasy 1 and 2 Dawn of Souls on Game Boy Advance, and I have the instruction manual for the game. And in the instruction manual, they don't explain how to level up your characters, outside of just this vague idea of if you keep fighting, you will get stronger eventually. So, this clear feedback is so important to games, and 2 just doesn't have it. Once you know how the system in 2 works, like if somebody just explains it to you, it makes a lot of sense, but it's still... I think that's a bad quality for a game to have, to be that opaque. Unless the whole purpose of the game is to learn like that. For example, I play a lot of NetHack, and NetHack is fairly opaque in a lot of its systems. It's to the point where it can be very difficult to even tell what's happening in NetHack sometimes, unless you're paying very, very close attention. But notably, I don't play NetHack unspoiled. I play NetHack with the wiki open and all the information available to me. If the instruction manual gave clear and accurate descriptions of how all of the character advancement worked, yes, I think it would be more acceptable than it is. I still don't like the system because it does lead to cheesy exploits that don't make sense thematically. But if the instruction manual specifically explained how the system works, which is what instruction manuals are supposed to do, then yes, it would be better. Because I played Final Fantasy II and then Saga Frontier and Final Fantasy Legend 2 as well. I played all three of those games as a kid. I played them for hours and 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 hours. And I never finished any of them. And the only thing I could tell you after many hours of playing each one is your characters randomly level up sometimes. That's all I ever got out of the games. Lit 2. Now, how much of this can you cast? None. Okay. I think Saga Frontier and Final Fantasy Legend 2 are both fairly good games. I enjoy both games now that I know how they work a little better. Like, I guess we're getting a re-release of Saga Frontier in a little bit here, apparently. Like, I'm gonna play that and I'll probably enjoy it. But we'll see. So now I need to go waste 75 gold on a pure potion. Final Fantasy Legend 2 is a fairly simple game, but it doesn't explain its mechanics very well. Like, it's still... I mean, I played it as a kid. Like, you can never intuitively understand how, like, monster evolution works. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I have a program on my laptop that is the Final Fantasy Legend 2 monster calculator. So when I play the game, I know how it works, but it's not possible to intuitively understand how it works as you're playing it. It's meant... The intent was it's just random. And I don't think that style of RPG... The more randomness the RPG has, the less fun it is for me. I like to be working towards a specific goal in an RPG, or I like to see feedback that my characters are getting stronger, like the things I'm doing actually have some effect on how strong I am in the next fight. Whereas Legend 2, it's like, I have this monster, and I kind of know how it works, but the next monster just dropped meat. Should I eat it? Should I not eat it? If I eat it and don't like it, how do I get my monster back that I liked? You can't, by the way. I should not have fought this battle. I did play the DS remake of Legend 2 this year, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. I gotta spend all my money on pure potions. I should not have fought those spiders. Say goodbye to all of my money. I need to get to the ocean and fight Kaizokus. Because staying at the inn does not cure poison. No, inns do not cure poison in this game. Inns refill the health of your living characters and their magic. Status afflictions, you are on your own. I don't know anything about romancing Saga. No, the only Saga games I played are Final Fantasy II, Saga Frontier, and Final Fantasy Legend 2. I did play through Legend 3 on stream a couple years ago, but I don't remember much of it. It was my first time ever playing it. I enjoyed it while I was in the game. I thought it was really cute. But I'm not super familiar with it. Whereas Legend 2, I know pretty well. I could save scum Kaizokus here, but if you reset the encounter table, do a hard reset, your first encounter on the ocean are always Kaizokus, which drop big money at this point in the game. But I'm just going to chill with you guys, and I'm just going to do some grinding. We're just going to level Zoc up the old-fashioned way. Oh, I can get lit for Corey, I guess. Does Corey get lit? I better double check. Corey does get lit. I'll buy him lit now. Let's do this. I think lit might kill them both. So I might as well just cast it once. And not have any of my attackers on the same guy at the same time. So yeah, I don't understand the Kawazu school of let's make our RPG mechanics as completely opaque as possible. I don't understand why players think that's fun. I guess people do, because there are a lot of Saga fans out there, but it's not fun for me. I don't enjoy that style of game. Corey gets lit. Double checking, because once I buy it, I can't unbuy it. Yeah, he gets lit. Like, Legend 2, like, yeah, you have strength weapons and you have agility weapons. And if you understand that, the whole game is broken. Like, you just give a robot tons of agility plus gear and you just win the whole game. So, and it's okay, you can win the game that way, and you kind of, it isn't, like, you're applying knowledge of your understanding of a game system to do that. But to me, it always feels like the only possible way to win these games is to use some cheesy exploit. Where, like, Final Fantasy IV, we played the whole story, and my guys got stronger the whole time, but at no point did it feel like I have to game this system to work. It's more like I can just naturally get stronger, and each character gets stronger in a little bit of a different way. Whereas in Legend 2, it's like, oh, I know how to make my robot unstoppably powerful. And I know exactly what monsters to eat to get like a World 9 monster in World 3. And then you just curb stomp the whole game. It's fun in its own way. It's not unenjoyable, but it's not the experience that I look for typically in an RPG like this. If you can get a copy, there is a really good fan translation for the Saga 2 remake for DS. If you don't mind emulating DS games, I played it this year and I thought it was really fun. But again, it was fun in that way where, but I know the secret. I know how to just completely curb stomp this game. I didn't really understand how combos worked, but they were always fun to use. Like, you just use them and it's a good time, and you just destroy all the monsters. I had to play the remake because I made a Final Fantasy Legend 2 themed villainous deck based on the Shogun world. So my goal right now is to get 2 casts of Lit 2 on Zoc. Then I know I'll be able to defeat the wizards in the Marsh Cave. I also need to have enough money to afford some potions and stuff going in. Actually, when I get one cast of Lit 2, I think I'll walk out there and start looting the Marsh Cave. And we'll just loot the Marsh Cave in maybe two trips. Like that 17 damage cast of Lit, that's ridiculous. Like there's no reason use of a magic spell should do that little damage in this game. They just forgot to make intelligence work, and that's why, like, spells in this game are supposed to deal base damage, and then that damage is supposed to scale up depending on your intelligence stat. But they forgot to make it scale. So all the spells just do the base damage. So no spell that your player character has ever cast in this game is ever at the appropriate power level that it's supposedly balanced around. Who gets ice? Zoc gets ice. I think I'm going to go buy ice as well. We'll go do that next. I don't want to make a trip out to the Marsh Cave without access to at least a few extra spell slots. Slashing is the least... Is that actually true? That's hysterical if that's true. Like, that's monumentally stupid if that's actually true. So slashing... This is in what? Saga Frontier? You have different kinds of defense, and slashing defense is not used, but that's the only defense stat you see. Okay. Makes sense. Why not? But the Saga games are intentionally designed that way, to be hostile. And I guess that's what I don't understand, is why are players interested in playing games that are actively hostile to them? And now, I don't mean hostile as in difficult, like Dark Souls. I understand the appeal of difficult games. It's like, but the game is lying to you. You can't trust the information given to you by the game. Like, that's what I don't see as an appealing thing in Saga games. Is if a game is hard, that's fine, but don't lie to me about what it is. Dark Souls has a screen filled with stats, and if you highlight any of them, it tells you exactly what they do. And as far as I know, the game doesn't lie to you about any of it. I think they're hostile intentionally. I think Kawazu's design sensibility is that opaqueness and the wrongness is part of the appeal. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so consistent over so many games in the same series. Like, that's part of the design. Final Fantasy 1 is hostile. Well, for two reasons. For one, there are bugs. Like, there's stuff that just doesn't work properly that's supposed to work, that if you fix, makes the game considerably less hostile. And two, this is from an era of RPG design where the expectations on the player were much, much different. Expectations on the player in this era of game design had less to do with playing through a story, progressing one scene at a time, like basically every other Final Fantasy game, and more on like plugging away at your boundaries in a lot of different places to explore where you can go in the game world and what you can handle. And you can see that in the dungeon design of this game too. Like, most dungeons in this game are not just strictly linear paths, like from beginning to end, with a side path leading to treasure every so often. The dungeons in this game are all not literally mazes. There are a few mazes, but the dungeons in this game are all like areas meant to be explored. Whereas Final Fantasy IV, the dungeons are paths from beginning to end with a couple of side paths leading to treasure. The dungeons in Final Fantasy II are mazes, and they suck. So the hostility in this game, part of the hostility is something I really, really like. Because I like this design of game where you, it's based on a lot of exploration, where you're plugging away at where your boundaries are. I find that very fun in certain contexts. And I kind of wish more modern RPGs did that. But that's not really what Final Fantasy II is doing, because the boundaries... Like, yeah, you could walk in the direction of Mysidia in the beginning of the game, but on this step you fight imps, and then on this step you fight level 19 super soldiers and bombs, and like that you can't damage at all, that do 500 damage to you, and inflict a bunch of status effects. Like, one step away. Like, right there. That's... not fun for me. Yeah, this game and the first few Dragon Quest games kind of came out of that vein of wizardry style games, Ultima style games, where you have, like, the game has a bag of information that you put together from disparate sources, talking to NPCs or reading placards in dungeons or learning secret words or whatever. And then eventually you build up enough knowledge that you know the correct path through the game. Final Fantasy 1 is, and Dragon Quest, more to the point because it came first, is more along those lines. I need to buy a tent, 2 pures, and then as many heals as I can afford. And still stay at the end. You know, maybe I will go loot Matoya, because they have she has got a potion up in there that I can put to use. So Final Fantasy 1 is definitely hostile, but that's one of the reasons I like Dawn of Souls so much, is because you get that, like, exploration. If you're playing the game blind, you still have to put together the clues of the game to know, like, where to go and what to do. But you're not going to run into situations where you're like way over your head. The game is much friendlier in its combat system, so you don't have to worry about like undead stun locking you for eternity kind of stuff. I'm going to be taking this playthrough of Final Fantasy very slowly and methodically. I'm going to enjoy every inch of it. Seems appropriate for the almost perfect save. Like, to give you an idea of like how different Final Fantasy games are balanced difference. Like in this game, there's a sword you might want to buy. It costs 4,000 gold. People who play the game kind of get the like, oh, I'm just supposed to grind imps and stuff to get 4,000 gold. Well, yes and no. Like, yeah, the game does intend for you to get that money by fighting lots of monsters. But you're supposed to, like, be wandering around the world and finding where your boundaries are. Like, oh, can I get through this river? Oh, can I, like, what's, if I walk up towards these mountains, should I poke my eyes into this dungeon real quick? And over the course of fighting all those monsters, you gain enough money to buy that sword. Final Fantasy IV, which we just played, is balanced so by the time you reach a town with new equipment, you will already have enough money to buy some or most of that equipment just fighting the monsters you would encounter in the previous dungeon. the sense of exploration and figuring out where your boundaries are is much, much lower. And Final Fantasy IV is different as well because the game is very clear about what you're supposed to be doing at any given point in the story. You always know where your next objective is. You always know what's going to happen when you get there. So there's no way to track Warmech. Like, I could fight Warmech or skip Warmech. It doesn't matter because the game doesn't track the monster at all. And you don't get anything for fighting it. So there's really no reason to fight the Warmech in this playthrough. If we see it, I'll fight it. But if we don't, I won't. I don't see any reason to make a special trip in to fight it. Whereas in the PSP version of the game, we will have to find it because the game does track it. And not only Warmech, but the other rare encounters, the T-Rex and the Iron Golem as well. The thing is, by the time you're strong enough to fight the last boss in this game, you're strong enough to fight the Warmech. The Warmech is difficult, but it's not so difficult that it's like a crazy super boss challenge situation. I don't know, we might. Maybe as an end cap, if people really want to see the Warmech. I'm stealing your treasures. A heal potion. A heal potion. And a puree potion. See you, lady. So the two new spells are revive and destroy, right? And you have to pick one or the other. You can't have both. Is that correct? So I planned for Final Fantasy II because you can't max all the magic on all the characters. It's not possible. A character can only learn some number of spells. So what I'll probably do is have one character master the entire white magic set, one character master the entire black magic set, and then a third character master just some mix of spells between the two that is useful. Unless that's different in the PSP version. You can grind out all weapon levels for all characters, and there's no reason to not do that. So I will be doing that. Let's buy one more pure. Trouble, it wouldn't be the almost perfect save if I didn't get all the weapon levels. Why would I settle for anything less than all weapon levels on all 4 characters? God, even the inputs have to be done slower in this version because the guys walk back and forth slower than in randomizer. Well, my devotion does know some bounds because I'm not doing any stat maxing. Oh, I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I get to Final Fantasy 7 and 8 if I want to grind up sources and stuff or eat monsters forever. You know, we'll come back and loot the Marsh Cave after I get the Mystic Key. Why is my party so weird? Oh, because when you get poisoned, it messes you up. My party's been weird for how long now? So if I go upstairs and get the treasures, I don't have to go downstairs and get the treasures. I believe. Let's get the treasures. Why not? I don't think there's any point in wasting magic on this fight. I think we can win this fight without it. So this game has duplicate treasure boxes. Like, there are treasure boxes that exist in 2 different places. And if you open one, the other one is emptied, and vice versa. So the top floor of the Marsh Cave, if you open the treasures on it, the second floor of the Marsh Cave becomes unnecessary. I should have got Harm before coming here, actually. After this treasure run, we'll be sure to go get her next spells. I think she's going to get Ruse and Harm. Yes. A large dagger. I guess we'll just give that to you. There's no reason for you to not have it. Let's hope we don't run into any scorpions. Scorpions are a disaster. Gargoyles aren't really fun either. Fair amount of gold. We are at 2732. So 32 is a magic number. Yeah, we want that short sword. Thank you, sir. No point in buying level 2 magic at this point. We could get ice for Corey, I guess, if we wanted to. But now there's no point to looting the second floor of the Marsh Cave because we got everything off of this floor. Unlocked for days. You know what? These guys are... We're done with these guys. Make sure you don't die and live to. Magic's just super bad in this game. 19 damage. It's worth a spell slot. Dead. Our bones are pretty serious, I guess. There we go. Good night. Sleep well, my friend. The most powerful party in this game, fighter, 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 red mage. And it's not particularly close. Knights wearing heavy armor can't be killed by hardly anything in the game. So a knight at the end of the game wearing a ribbon with the fast spell to augment his attack power. Could also go fighter, fighter, red mage, or fighter, fighter, black belt, red mage would also be up there. Fighter, fighter, black belt, red mage is particularly choice because then he's not competing for weapons. If you take 3 knights, like one can use the Mazimune, one can use the Excalibur, and then the third one has to use a Sun Sword, which is just like, or a Vorpal or something. Getting my balls stun locked in the marsh cave. But yeah, fighter is the most powerful class in the game, and anybody tells you different doesn't know the game. We're gonna die. That's interesting. Well, let's loot the second floor, then. We should get the same items. Actually, there's... Wait, hold on. I thought the second floor had a bracelet. Not a sword. Maybe it has both. I don't know. I'm misremembering. Nope. 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 Nobody can run. We're the worst. There we go. Never understood why it reorganizes your party when somebody gets poisoned. Like, I've never had somebody get poisoned in any RPG and been like, oh, I gotta reorganize my party. I wish the game would do that for me automatically. Yeah, so there's the 680 gold that you can get. We finished Final Fantasy IV. I got all the rare drops that I wanted to get on my first playthrough, and we killed the last boss. So we have now moved on to whatever game this is. Dragon Quest VII, I think. Final Fantasy I is pretty hostile in that the first like major dungeon of the game is this tricky and this far away from town. There's the short sword. So it should be 3 treasure boxes. No, the top floor has an extra box. There's only 2 boxes on this floor. So if we go any deeper... No, there might be one in this room. It might be literally the same boxes. I'm going to lit these nerds. I'm going to take these crawls down. I think Bones only have like 10 hit points, but... Giving the crawls an opportunity to stunlock me again sounds like a bad time. Oh, so this box just must be duplicated on this floor, and then there's a second 600 and something gold box upstairs. So I do have to go upstairs anyway. This game has the worst voice acting I've ever heard, yes. Who are these people? I have no more pure potions. I have no more pure potions. So your boy's walking home poisoned. Poisoned like whoa. So these shadows, like every enemy formation in the game has like an ambush stat. The higher it is, the more likely that formation can ambush you. And those shadows have the highest ambush stat in the game. But it's all those monsters have going for them. Other than that, they're completely unremarkable. Probably the same thing that possessed developers of Zelda and Metroid to make that obnoxious beeping. Like a really obnoxious sound effect is a strong signal that something is wrong if you didn't already know. Zoc has a knife now too, so he can do a little bit of damage without using magic. I'm not going to use your magic for anything else, so you heal as we go. Do not want to incur another 75 gold piece tax on poison. I don't have my lit 2 anymore, so these guys are not in the cards, probably. In Randomizer, it doesn't reorganize your party, so I keep forgetting I have to do that. It's kind of obnoxious. Why did anybody ever enjoy this game? Clearly a trash game. Clearly. Maximum garbage. Yo, I got hella poison. What up? We're not casting level 3 magic yet. Okay. I might buy harm 2. And harm. I want the order of the spells on my sheet to reflect the order in that I actually buy them in the game, so I might have to adjust that as I go. And we'll keep 2 in reserve. Alright, so we're my harm. And I guess ruse, because that's her other spell that she gets at level 1. And harm 2 would clear out 1 undead fight as well on the way. $22 damage. That's worth a clearly worth a spell slot. Glad I cast that spell. I feel like this is kind of like the classic Final Fantasy party. I feel like a lot of people use this party. Or swap the red mage out for a black belt. Would probably be equally classic. I think I just assumed that Kaizoku is like a Japanese word that means pirate. You get ruse and harm, yes? I have a little more leeway with white magic in the first few spell levels because eventually Ziza will also learn white magic spells. Yeah, cure, ruse, and harm. And I don't want to buy any more black magic while I'm here. Ruse and harm are spells I'll actually cast someday, but... Oh, I need to buy more tents. I need 2 more tents. And 1 more pure. I'm not a fan of the Peninsula power. I don't really see the point of it. I don't really power level a lot in this game, and there are better places to do it if you are going to just sit there and power level. Like, there's better options available to you. We'll have more money than we ever know what to do with eventually. Like, I have everything worth buying right now. Unless you wanted to grind up money for like a silver sword or something. That ogre funds one more pure potion and its own stay at the inn with a slight profit, so... I didn't use any heal potions, which is nice. But it's like hard for me to want to invest in equipment in this game because I just know that better equipment is always right around the corner. Like, those scimitars are probably the best weapons I'll ever buy in the game. I'll probably never buy another weapon. Not even the cat claw. I don't have space to hold a cat claw in my inventory. Alright, let's see if we can get the upstairs of the Marsh Cave on this trip. I'm gonna fight these because I'm right next to town, so if I kill one... yeah, you know, we'll commit to fighting these entirely. Bring them all down. Oh, those aren't as tough as I thought they were. I was thinking those were tougher than Grey Wolves. Are those the second tier wolves, and then the Grey Wolves are the third tier wolves? 170 gold, so I can get my lit spell back at least. Yeah, you kind of have to buy some armaments in the first town. So I bought rapiers and chain armor in the first town. I just need to go to the inn. And I bought scimitars in the second town. And that's probably it until Pro Rings. I can't think of anything else I'm going to buy as far as equipment goes. I don't even need a silver sword, because by the time I can afford a silver sword, I'll have access to the rune sword and the dragon sword. Usually I wouldn't even get the short sword from the Marsh Cave, but I have it, so it's kind of cool looking. I dig it. Chain armor is like absurdly powerful armor for the first town. You can do a lot of good work with chain armor and nothing else. Anybody that can equip chain armor is in good shape. Like, it's as good as like a mid to late game bracelet in terms of its absorb. So I'll try opening all the chests on the top floor. I thought they were the top floor and the second floor were mirrors of each other in terms of chests. But I guess that's not the case. I'm happy with these names. I'm glad that these are the names we settled on. So when we play the PSP version, we'll get names from the same source, from the in-game like default names lists, but we'll get to choose from a wider selection of names because we are not limited to 4 letters. I came prepared for you, filthy animals. Oh, I didn't equip his knife, did I? Oh, I didn't get to keep the knife because I got killed on the way out. That's right. I should have attacked the ghouls, not the zombies. I guess it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that much, I should say. Move. Move. So the newest version of Randomizer I played has a great option called NPC Guillotine, which, if you speak to an NPC, it removes that NPC from the map until you leave the map and come back. So if there's a bat in your way in a dungeon, you just talk to it and it vanishes for all eternity. You never have to worry about that bat again. Why, though? Why? Is this an unrunnable formation? Or am I just getting unlucky? Alright, fine. Mountain of dildos. We will murder you then. I tried to let you idiot spiders live because you're not worth the experience. And I didn't want to get poisoned. But you would not let me run, so die. Die forever. If there is a second short sword up there, I wonder if Corey can equip it. These guys are just obnoxious to fight, and I'm not really into it right now. Because they blind you. I actually could not swear that the blind status effect, or dark, I guess it's called, actually does anything. I don't know for sure that it does. I could sell that scimitar for $100 too. And I ought to. Dem bones, dem bones. This is worth a fire spell. If I can complete it in one round. Come on, Corey, bring it home for us, buddy. Yeah, man. That battle wasn't worth fighting, but okay. So I'm expecting this box to be empty. Okay, and then I'm expecting the box to the south to also be empty. Gargaloids! No, it had some gold. That one's empty. Okay, so two of these boxes mirror... So the second floor, one of the boxes links to another box on the same floor, and two of the boxes link to boxes on this floor. Everything can poison you in here. And now I can no longer cure poison. Fortunately, we're on our way out. Nope, can't fight this fight. I thought I had harm still. Oh, I used up Noah's last slots casting Cure just now. Still have my lit too, I think, though. We'll use it on these jokers. No more spell slots, do I? Nope. Oh good, monsters ambushed me. Beautiful. You'll love to see it. Corey and Ziza might be dead here. Then we get to go to the clinic and waste all our money. Get us out of there. Okay. We're almost home. We're almost there. There's just one little dude. This guy's not gonna... Yeah, that's right. Noah's afraid of... Yes, ghost. I'm gonna buy my spell first. Before... So the benefit of having Harm 2 is I can attack undead monsters without using up my cure spells, basically. The fact that Cure and Harm share a spell level means I don't have much access to Harm. And... Oh, let's sell the Scimitar, by the way, while we're here. Even though Noah has level 2 spell slots that are just going to waste. Like, there's no good use for them. And we'll buy Piers here until we can't afford anymore. If I buy another one, I can't afford an in-stay, so that's that. So level 3 magic for Noah is going to be Harm 2, Cure 2, and Heal. Eventually. Oh, I need more tents as well. I can't afford them. Let's go get some gold on the ocean, and I'll buy tents and an in-stay at Canaria afterwards. This should be a fair amount of gold. Why are Noah's attacks green? It's weird. Like, does she just have green fists? Does she cover her arms in green slime every morning? I didn't buy a hammer for Noah. It's not worth the expense that early in the game. After we get the Mystic Key, she'll get a silver hammer, which she'll carry for a while. And I'll probably hold on to it just because it's free. Maybe she's just a weird gremlin person. Under the robes, like she's just all green. She just paints her face white and dyes her hair, or like her bangs at least, red. So nobody can see her secret hidden shame. I don't know when you get lit 2. The problem with fighting the wizards right now is I've only got one shot of lit 2, and if it's a low roll, it's a bum run. So what I'm going to do, I think, is wait until I can afford lit 2 on... Corey? We can either fight ogres around here, or we can fight on the ocean. I could save scum for Kaizoku's, but... The ocean's probably slightly better because it's closer to Canaria, but this is also fine. Like, that might be a second shot of lit 2 for Zoc, but I can't have him cast 2 spells in one round, whereas if he and Corey both know it... Yeah, second for Zoc. Oh, he's got it right there. Okay, so we just need to be able to afford it. I never liked 8-bit theater back in the day. I always thought it was so dumb. Not my cup o' jam. I tried to read it too, boy, because it was a time back in the day when everybody I knew was reading 8-bit theater. Everybody liked it. Like, how do you like Final Fantasy, but you don't like 8-bit theater? But I might have just been too old for it, because I was like 20 by that point. Like, I wasn't into that kind of humor anymore. If I had been like 12, I think I would have loved it. Corey's level 3 magic spells are Lit 2, Fur 2, and Hold. Wait, why Hold? Oh, Hold because Zoc can't get it. Wait, Hold must be white. Oh, okay. I got confused. I'm like, wait a minute. If Corey doesn't have any white magic in level 3, how is Noah learning it all? It's because Ziza will have the last level 3 white magic spell. That's what's going to happen. That's what the Haps is. I will go ahead and burn up Lit. Why not? Yeah, White Mage just has green fists for whatever reason. Good night, Wabafoodle. Sleep well, my friend. And then they both need to have fire too by the time I go fight the vampire, which should be trivial. We should easily be able to afford that. About 1/3 of the way there. Could go visit Astos. We don't know he's Astos yet, though. That hasn't been revealed as part of the plot. So I really should not have bought Harm 2 then. I guess it might still come in handy going forward. I only got 2 shots of Lit too, so I have to kind of start making my way back to the ship now. Like, this probably isn't even worth using Lit 2, but I don't want to fight all these guys individually. If Corey could one-shot them, I might. So this is a relatively weak party, because in almost every encounter, Noah is just dead weight. Noah has virtually nothing useful to do in most encounters in the game. It's going to be like less than 5 encounters total that Noah actually has something worthwhile to do that another character would not be able to do other than a White Mage. If Corey were a black belt or a second fighter, this party would be way stronger. And if Noah were basically anything else other than a thief at this point in the game, we'd be better off. And if Noah were a thief, we'd be slightly better off because thieves can use better weapons, and then later we'd be much better off because thieves can learn black magic and equip a bunch of better stuff. I could speed this process up if you save your game and then do a hard reset, like turn the power off and then back on. It resets the encounter list. The encounter list in this game is hard-coded. And the first encounter in the boat is always a pack of Kaizokus, they give you fairly good amount of money for this point in the game. So I could speed this up if I valued anybody's time, but I don't. So we're just gonna resign to the grind, as it were. About halfway there. Probably better off just fighting on the ocean, actually. Yeah, these nerds are dropping fat stacks. I mean, I'm not gonna do everything we did as stupid kids. Like, I'm not gonna walk through the hallway of giants like a moron. I'm not gonna buy the steel armor. Or the cat claw. Actually, we might be strapped for cash after the key. I think I've got to keep the power staff. Yeah, I've got to keep the power staff. That's like 6,000 gil that I won't have that I normally do. Because it's a unique weapon, and I tried to keep as many unique weapons in my inventory at the end of the game as possible. So we are not selling the power stick. Show me the Kaizokus. Where they be at? I'm gonna lit these nerds. Lit them up. I got 2 of those. I might as well use them on a fight that would otherwise take like 3 rounds. One more lit 2. I just want to be absolutely sure I take out the wizards in 1 round. I don't want to save outside the marsh cave and reload a whole bunch of times. That's usually what I do in this game. I just know where I can get away with being underpowered, so I can just save and reload a lot. Let's try a different sort of experience in this run. Let's be sure before we go in the dungeon that we're going to complete it. And I won't loot the 3rd floor until I've got the Mystic Key. I don't feel like going all through the whole floor and then going back in just a couple of scenes and doing the whole thing again. What's good, Torgo? How you doing, man? This is what I wanted to see. We did our grocery shopping today, but I've got no idea what's out in the kitchen for me to eat. It's a mystery. $600 gold, huh? That'll buy our Lit 2 plus another couple packs of Pure Potion. Final Fantasy IV is done for now. We completed the first run. Do I want to get ice for Corey? No, I'm not. I'll never cast ice. It's on his spell list, but there's no point getting it right now. Oh, do I have tents? I do. All right, let's go take down some wizards. So we should probably start thinking about what the next game I'm going to play after this is, because this game, it's starting out kind of slow, but we're going to reach a point where I just burn through the rest of this game, and then the grinding to level 50 should not take long at all. I doubt grinding to level 50 for 4 characters in this game will take as long as grinding one of those tails in Final Fantasy IV. We're thinking 7 next? I played 7 earlier this year, and I kind of already am itching to replay it. 7 or 7R? I'm assuming if you meant 7R, you would have said that. I think I'm going to have to play 7R twice, because I want to do a fresh save and play through the story. But I need to do all the chapters in hard mode as well. Well, 7 is also fresh in my brain. I just played it a couple months ago to get assets for the villainous deck I made. And I've watched Alex Diner's Let's Play of 7 this past couple weeks, while doing D&D prep and playing Minecraft and doing other stuff. So I actually already have it planned out. I'm going to be able to carry... Is somebody poisoned? No, we're fine. I'm going to be able to carry every spellcasting item in the game and have space left over in my inventory to carry a couple of, not all of them, but a couple of the unique weapons. Most of the unique pieces of armor that exist in the game, I'm not going to have space for. But I already know who's going to carry what weapons and what armor going forward into the game. But I won't throw away anything that casts a spell when used as an item. And we'll be able to carry some number of cool pieces of equipment that are otherwise unique. Party's predetermined because this party allows me to get almost all of the black and white magic. The only party that literally has access to every single black and white magic spell is 2 white and 2 black mages. By going with a red mage to pick up some of the excess, to get the one spell my regular mages don't have access to, frees up a slot for a fighter. Because if you go 2 white mages, 2 black mages, yeah, you can use every single spell in the game, but you can equip almost nothing. So this party gives me access to as much magic and as much equipment as possible. When I do the same run in the PSP version, I will not use a red mage. In that version, you can always forget a spell and relearn something else. So you're not locked out of any spells. So in that version, I'm going to go with a black belt or a monk instead of a red mage, I think. So yeah, I already didn't take a lot of doing because I played this game 7 million times. So I already knew going in that I was going to be on limited inventory space, and it was just a matter of looking up what spells the red wizard could cast. Yeah, I decided on the PSP version, not the GBA version, because it has bonus content that I've never done. Whereas the Dawn of Souls version, I've done all that bonus content. The PSP has all that same content plus another bonus dungeon I've never played. So that's why we're going to do the PSP version. But I didn't know that when I first wrote that list. So that'll get corrected at some point. Ooh, I didn't go down south enough. Move. 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 Move! I will murder your whole bat family. Let's take one more step. Okay. This is the ideal wizard fight. I'm going to have you cast Ruse because there's nothing else for you to do. This should win the fight right there. Low damage roll for that first wizard. You know what? Cure. And we'll save a lit 2 for the return trip. The rest of the treasure on this floor we'll get after we get the Mystic Key. Chance to strike first. How about chance to run away from muck? The PSP version, we're going to fight all these monsters because there's a bestiary to complete. But no bestiary to complete in this version, so I'm safe to run away from scum. So I've done a little bit of research into what the bonus content is on the PSP version, and it sounds really bizarre, and I expect it's going to be incredibly tedious, to be honest. This is a good... Ooh, no, harm 2. So as long as Noah acts before she gets attacked by one of these undead monstrosities. There we go. This is why I bought Harm 2, for this, pretty much this exact encounter. Bootyful. I guess I'm streaming a little longer today than usual because I chopped it up into 2 separate streams. So I'm looking at my timer and it only says like 2 hours. But that's after streaming Final Fantasy IV for 4 hours. So whatever, long stream today. If you're going to complain about it, you know where to find me on Twitter. How dare you do a long stream today, Brick Road? What kind of horrific monster do you think you are? I'm going to cast Harm 2 again. I don't give a F. I'm going to organize a playlist for the Final Fantasy IV playthrough as well, so people can find it fairly easily. People are watching the content, so I enjoy making it. Now that I'm like forcing myself to get back into the habit of streaming regularly, the next thing on my agenda is to force myself to get back into the habit of processing YouTube videos every day. For me, this is part of like a therapeutic rehabilitation because I've just been in such a bad place mentally for so long this year. It's like, alright, just force yourself to just sit down and stream, dude. And that's what's happening right now. I also removed some of the Twitch clutter from the overlays because I needed to set up the YouTube clutter for it. Like for the latest like donator or super chatter or whatever, and put all that down there. Haven't done it yet. We'll do it. We'll do it at some point. I'm gonna use ice here because as soon as we finish this encounter, we're gonna run into 30 wolves that I'm gonna want to lit too. It's not really painful, it's just... I don't know, it's difficult to describe. Streaming's not painful for me, it's fine. It feels better to actually do it now that I'm doing it. Whereas when I wasn't doing it regularly, the thought of doing it was not appealing. Like, just sitting down to actually get it done. Now that I'm here playing and talking, it's fine, but getting over that hump, that's part of why I set an actual project goal that was going to take 1,600 hours. Like, I'm never going to achieve this goal unless I keep a schedule. And if I don't have any incentive to keep a schedule, that's where I'm going to run into trouble and not do anything. And I was tired of not doing it. YouTube's been pretty good so far. My numbers on YouTube have been stronger than my similar numbers on Twitch. Both in terms of live viewers and in people watching the archives after the fact. The streaming culture on YouTube involves, because it auto-archives your streams and they just kind of seamlessly integrate into your channel, if you stream the same kind of content that you upload anyway, people will just watch the streams afterwards. Whereas on Twitch, I think it's less normal for people to go back and watch Twitch VODs. If they don't catch a live stream, they don't go back and watch it afterwards. That's another reason I decided to pitch this as a project with a goal at the end. Like, it's conceivable that somebody might find my channel 5 years from now and want to watch over the course of a year the 1,600 hours of this project progressing. Do I want to go by Ice? I think I do want to go by Ice, because after he casts Lit 2 on Estocioso, he will not have anything else to do with his turns, so Ice is a good investment now. Yeah, like if I was streaming to Twitch at 12:30 on, what is it, Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday now, technically. Yeah. 14 is not a number you would see on my channel. I've always had trouble getting people who watch my YouTube videos to watch the live streams on Twitch. That's always been a struggle of mine. Whereas we've seen people popping into the stream chat over the past few days that have never been to Twitch. So I wish Twitch was better. I would love to have continued streaming to Twitch. But it's just so hard to use that site nowadays. The entirety of Firefly. Oh boy. I'm only 1.2 games in. I don't want to buy a lot of level 2 magic. Just ice, because a lot of this other money is going to be spent on level 4 and 5 magic. Just ice, buddy. That's all you get for now. I need more tents now. And of course, there are people that will never want to watch any of this content, which also makes perfect sense to me. I don't need heal potions for Astos. I might want to buy more heal potions when I go back to the Marsh Cave to loot it, but at the moment, I think I'm okay. Last time I uncursed the Cursed Shield, I did it on the Veldt. That is actually something you can watch on my YouTube channel. I did a Let's Play series of Final Fantasy VI, and I don't remember what number in the series it is, but you can probably search for it. I have a video, it's like 3 hours long, where I was just fighting on the Veldt, and I filled the time by talking about the whole Final Fantasy series and what I think about every individual game in it. I uncursed the shield while I was getting some rages and just learning some magic on certain characters. Either the Eye in the Ice Cave or Agamas in the volcano. The spiked squares there. Either one of those is going to be a good spot. I don't want to fight these. What am I doing? I edited music in, yeah. And like I forget what I had to do, but I had to jump through a lot of really stupid hoops to get a clean MP3 of the combat starting sound from Final Fantasy 13. No, not 13. 13 was easy. 10 was the tricky one. Getting the glass shattering sound. For some reason, I forget why now, but for some reason I had a hard time getting a clean version of that. I think in the end Treble had to do it for me. Yeah, Treble, you did it for me. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Right, I would have had to record it from PS3, and it would have been a gigantic pain in the butt. No, I had tried to record it from PS3, but I couldn't figure out a good way to get the glass shatter absent the music behind it. Or something. I don't remember. Anyway, it came out fine when you helped me. You think my checklist for Final Fantasy Tactics is not tenable? How many hours are we looking at for Final Fantasy Tactics, you think? I don't know, JP grinding in War of the Lions wasn't that bad as I recall. Midlight's Deep is kind of a pain in the butt, but I've completed it before, so it's not like... It's not like unbearable. I'll get through it. I did get through it once. We'll get through it again. A crown for Cart King. Like, the dude is green, alright? Just, he's green, that's all I'm saying. Just remember, the motto for this whole series is resign to the grind. That's what we're doing here. Lit 2. Ruzzy. Erased. Dun 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 dun. That's what he does in Villainous. I mean, just cast Ruse again. Whatever. You don't have anything else to do with your time, so. Slatu. Yeah, this is why we got Ice, because now we're out of Lit 2 for him, and Ice is... Hopefully we can finish off with Ice here. So, like, one thing I'm not sure of in Final Fantasy Tactics, maybe you know better than I, Torgo, because I know you're like a big FFT dude. You can have 16 people in your army, is my recollection. Some number of those are named characters that join as part of the story. Presumably there aren't more than 15 of those. So I don't have to dismiss a named character in order to get another named character to join. After that, I want to have at least one male and one female generic character. And then the rest of this, if there are any more empty slots, I'll fill with monsters. So what I need to look up is how many named characters are there, plus 2 for my generics, and then we'll have to figure out what because I don't imagine I'll be able to have one of each monster. Like, I don't think there's enough slots for that. Oh, you can't even get all the named characters in the original. Well, good thing I'm playing War of the Lions, then. Like, what I'll probably do is just get... Like, I'll start the game with, like, 2 generics, whatever. And I'll just keep those generics for the whole game. And the other generics I start with, I'll have to start throwing away as I get named characters. Which is kind of interesting because I've... previous runs of the game that I've done, I actually don't use the named characters that much. I like to stick with Ramza plus my generics. So this will be the first run of the game where I'm just largely using named characters. Oh yeah, you can recruit monsters in Final Fantasy Tactics. It's a whole thing. There's a whole job based around doing it. $24 slots. Okay. How many named characters actually are there? There's Ramza. Let's see if I can go through them. There's Ramza, obviously. Agrius and Mustadio. Orlando. Rafa and Marak. Cloud, Luso, and Balthier as, like, kind of bonus characters. Meliadul. Who am I missing? There's got to be more that I'm missing that permanently join you. Let's go get a herb. I don't want to fight anything that can poison me. I just want to get out of here. Okay, so Worker 8, Reese, and Biblos are characters I've never gotten. Boko's a monster, but Boko is like your introduction to here's monster characters. Ooh, Agrius is generics. She has 2 female generics, right? Like, I can't make those my male and female generics. But you're right, there's a bonus scene with those 2 characters, so I can't dismiss them. She has 3 generics? This is going to be tougher than I thought. Like, if I have to make the hard decision, I would rather get rid of a generic than a named character. Unless the item that you get from that cutscene is unique and cannot be obtained any other way. If that's the case, then I would prioritize getting that item over, like, getting a monster, I think. But I might just commit to keeping Agrius's generics and get rid of all my Chapter 1 guys then, if that's the case. Like, the Ramses, like, starting characters don't matter. I almost always dismiss them anyway. Okay, so I'd probably have to... I could always keep those characters and then dismiss one of them after I get that item, though, as well. And then fill that slot with an extra monster. Maybe that's the master plan. Maybe that's the Big Daddy play. Is we do that scene with Agrius, and then we release one of her female generics. That leaves me with 1 male, 1 female generic. And then I can put an extra monster in that slot later. Burn the imp. I've never gotten Beowulf, I don't think. I don't remember Reese at all. Is it like the actual Reese from Trials of Mana? Is it that Reese? I want to end this fight very quickly. Because it is time to do some treasure hunting. She's a dragon girl? She wasn't a dragon girl in Trials of Mana. She's just like a... Well, she's a dragoon, I guess. She uses a spear and is in the Valley of the Wind. She's the princess of the Wind people. A Valkyrie, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. My goal eventually is I'll be at a point in enough Final Fantasy games that, like, on one stream I probably won't just dedicate an entire stream to grinding JP and Final Fantasy Tactics. It'll be more like, all right, let's spend 30 or 40 minutes making some progress in Final Fantasy Tactics, and then we'll switch over to some other game and grind for 30 or 40 minutes. progressed by inches in a bunch of different games rather than just a solid 5 hours of grinding for pink tails like we did the other night. So, I mean, even if it is going to take 100 hours to grind up all that JP, it'll be 100 hours spread over a long period of time, during which we're also grinding a bunch of other games. So 18 unique characters, that's including Boko and Agrius's people. So that leaves me 6 spots for monsters? Okay. So we'll just figure out... See, I thought like Biblos and... Well, Biblos and Boko, I guess, count as monsters. Because Biblos is like an ultimate demon, isn't he? He's like in that same vein? Or same monster family? Alright, we have some equipment now. You have a weapon, finally, Noah. I'm going to buy Fire 2. Corey gets Fire 2 and Zoc gets Fire 2. I'm going to buy both of those right now. But they're like unique monsters. They're like monsters you get as part of the story. So, like, what 6 monsters should I recruit then? Like, obviously, like a Moogle. Right? Like that. Like maybe one of those black goblin guys. Like, should I get one of each color chocobo? I don't know. I actually don't know anything about how monsters work in that game. I didn't know these guys lived in this forest. Okay, we'll fight them. These are out-of-depth monsters. These are very, very tough monsters. And they poison. Cool. They're not particularly healthy monsters, though, so I guess that's okay. I knew you could get scorpions in the marsh cave, but I mean, we've been playing for 2.5 hours, so we must be pretty deep in the encounter list by this point. Well, let's get that spell slot back, and we'll buy 2 pure potions to replace the one we just used. Yeah, I don't know anything about monsters. I've never used the job that you have to use to get monsters, which I think was called a mediator originally, but then was changed to Beastmaster in War of the Lions. I've never seriously used the job, so... I also expect we're going to have to do some planning, because I'm sure that there's some unique equipments that we're going to have to steal over the course of the game. Or, like, find treasure on a particular tile. So I imagine Final Fantasy Tactics is going to involve a lot of research as I go, so I don't miss anything. I didn't know you could ride chocobos. That's pretty cool. It's gonna feel kind of bad releasing all my Chapter 1 generics, though. Like, I don't have space for them, so... There's no inventory limit in Tactics, right? Like, I can have one of everything. As long as I'm careful not to let stuff get broken along the way, right? Corey's going to get a better weapon in a couple of scenes here, don't worry. Corey's not going to suck for much longer. So my PSP emulator is going to get a workout during this project. Between 1 and 2 in Tactics. And 4 in the after years. So we got a lot of PSP to push through. PPSSPP is such a great emulator. It's astounding how good that emulator is. It's like wild. DS emulation is pretty good now too, though. I played through the Saga remake this year, and it's in a pretty good state now. But like back in the even just a few years ago, DS emulation was a shambles. And back like PSP, I installed it and it worked perfectly. Fashion. Power stick. So the power stick is something we're going to keep forever. And the power stick is going to be carried by Zoc. Boom. Actually, do you want to equip that? 1021. Not really. Alright, one of these is a spiked square with mummies. Here we go. We're just going to enjoy some mummies for a minute. The Saga 2 remake was good. I liked it a lot, actually. If you enjoyed Final Fantasy Legend 2, you'd enjoy it. It has really good music. The graphics are really adorable. The battles are nice and fast. They're nice and snappy, and they have a fast forward option. The monster calculator that you can find online that works for Legend 2 also works. So if you already know like the exploits and what monsters and stuff to go for, you're in good hands. Yeah, we need 2 spells to mop up. Just gonna grab some quick experience and gold right here. That's all we're doing. You're out of spell slots now. Actually, for 3, 1 spell's probably fine. And we'll use you so we can do 2 spells next fight if we need to. I was actually very surprised. I was expecting the remake for the monster list to be different. So if you did know anything about monsters from the first game, or from the original game, like, it wouldn't help you to keep that knowledge, but all the knowledge is still good. The monster tables still shake out the same way. So if you either know what you're doing or have access to the calculator, there's a little program that I use. It sits there, and I just basically, you pick what monster you are, and then you pick what monster you want to be, and it just tells you what to eat and where. And I think... yeah, we can just do that. Ghost door! What? So we can sell some of this stuff, but we cannot sell the power staff, even though it's worth like 6,000 gil. Because it's one of the unique weapons I want to hold on to. I am so gosh darn sick of getting poisoned. Hate it. Hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I had problems running from these nerds earlier when they showed up with some spiders. There we go. So that's 5 pure potions I've got to buy. But yeah, if you enjoy Legends 2, you'd enjoy the remake, I think. I haven't played the Saga 3 remake. But somebody in chat earlier mentioned that it's also pretty good. So I kind of wish the Saga collection we were getting included those. That would really be worth buying if that's the case. Like one of that has, remember Legends 2, you have like 6 different characters to start with, but they all had the same look. In the remake, you get to pick your character, but then there's like 4 or 5 different designs for each character. And some of them are really stupid looking, but some of them are really adorable. Like one of the robots kind of looks like BB-8 with cat ears. It's like, why? But it's really adorable. Cool little game. Just a fun, cool little game. I'm not gonna... We can sell off some weapons here. But... Actually, we can just sell one weapon. But I'm not buying anything else yet. I'm buying 5 pure potions. I'm going to buy a couple of cabins, but nothing else. I want to be able to afford level 5 magic. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's enough. Do I have access to level 4 magic yet, actually? I do. You know what I'm going to buy while I'm here? Can Corey get... Alright, I might need to do some switching around on my spells here. I need to find out if Corey... what white magic spells Corey can learn. Can you learn Fear? You can't. Can you learn Ammut? You can't. Can you learn Ice? You can. Okay. So you're going to get a Ice, Corey. And that frees up a spot for Noah to get Pure, which I can buy right now. Alright. So Noah is going to get Pure, Ammut, and Fear. And Corey's going to get Ice from that level. I'm not thinking about min-maxing any stats in the game. Like, I'm not min-maxing my stats in Final Fantasy 1, and I'm probably not going to do it in 4 either. I'm going to pay attention to that kind of stuff where applicable, but I don't want to drive myself absolutely nutty. So, my understanding of Brave and Faith and Tactics is that it's not actually super obnoxious to max that kind of stuff out. But it's also not super important. It's more like you might want to have 1 or 2 characters at or near the limit for each of those stats. We'll see when we get there. You're very welcome. Sleep well, my friend. Like, it might be worth having one character with low bravery for exactly that reason. But all that's manipulable, though. Like, that's not something we have to, like, save scum to get. Like, I can go into combat and focus on raising somebody's bravery or lowering it to whatever level I want it to be. I've never actually done that, but that's my understanding of how it works. And yeah, if there are characters that are, like, just kind of naturally good at it, we might as well just leave them naturally good at it. I'm not fighting no imps. I should probably get Cure 2 and Heal before the next stage of the game, too. My next stop at Elfland, I'll make sure to get those. So I guess we're not going to afford level 5 magic anytime soon. I remember really liking Rafa when I played War of the Lions, but I didn't like her brother. I don't remember why now, though. Like, in combat, I mean, not in this. I don't give a crap about the story of the game, but... Like, mechanically, she had, like, this cool, like, thing that would hit, like, some random number of times and seemed to do pretty good damage. And he was just a suck boy. That's my recollection. Okay, you get a new sword. Dem bones, dem bones. The only other, like, stat manipulation I do is... I always have to look it up, but the game asks you what you want Ramses' like, star sign to be. And I always try to pick the star sign that is good against Waycraft. Because of that one friggin' fight. Actually, there's 2 friggin' fights against Waycraft that are both obnoxious. I don't think we're going to hold on to this, but is it better than the Falchion? 2536. 2231. It is. So yeah, take that. I'm thinking of Waygraph in Chapter 1 is always a really difficult fight, and then the battle before he turns into Belias is just a horror show. Are you is that the fight you mean, or do you mean the fight with the Elmdor's bitches? Because the Elmdor bitches fight is, I've seen that fight fail before I even had a turn to put it in action. Because Rafa moved to the wrong square, and then Elmdor's bitches was just like, nope! And gutted her, and you lose the fight if that happens. So many imps. I think we'll finish doing our Mystic Key looting, and get the stuff out of the Marsh Cave and save in Melmond and then call it a night there. So, I don't know, maybe another, not quite an hour. I don't think it'll take an hour to do all that, but we have a little more looting to do. What level 3 spells do I want to buy before then? Corey gets Lit 2, Fire 2, and Hold. He's already got the important ones. Noah needs to buy Cure 2 and Heal. Okay, so I just need Cure 2 and Heal are the only other spells I'm looking for right now. Oh, let me correct you, Treble. They're not ladies. They are bitches. Them is Elmdor's bitches, not his ladies. There is nothing ladylike about them. They are straight up hoes. Actually, I think canonically they're like demons that he transformed into bitches. Yeah, they're ultimate demons that he like transformed. A Sabre, which we're not going to keep. An Iron Stick, which we're not going to keep. Iron Shirt, Iron Shields, and a Tent. Listen, if calling a bitch offends somebody's sensibility, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just stating an objective fact about the status of those bitches. That's it. We can sell the short sword and the large Nif and the Sabre and the Falchion and the Iron Stick, and that's it. And we can sell a Copper Gauntlet, and we can sell one of these he's not wearing. I don't know which one. And that's it. Okay, I sold the correct one. Wait, who has that cap? Zoc has it. Noah's not wearing anything. Okay, fair enough. Did I buy some cabins? I did. Let's buy a couple of tents, because I'm just going to save going to the Marsh Cave. And I can't buy tents in Elf Land. Let's get a few more of these. Oh, I don't need pure potions anymore about the pure spell. Let's buy potions down to about 3,000. I think the poor design choice in Tactics is just letting you save in a position where you can't go train characters. That's probably the only design flaw of, like, the Waygraph fight or the Elmdor's bitches fight. Yeah, getting yourself locked into a situation where you cannot win the next fight and you're not allowed to go train. Like, if the game warned you and, like, popped up a window saying, make sure to save in a separate slot, would probably solve the whole issue. If I have enough money, I'll buy Ice 2. No, I won't, because I'm going to save up for Fire 3. Ice 2 is kind of a dud spell. Which is good. You don't want the game to go easy on you. You want, like, the game wouldn't be as fun if the AI was stupid. And by stupid, I don't mean, like, open to manipulation. Like, all AI is open to manipulation. I mean, you want the AI to... if they see that you're immune to blindness, to not cast a blind spell on you and waste its turn. Like that's something you want. Because you play that way, surely. If you see that your enemy is immune to sleep, you're not going to waste your turn casting a sleep spell. And the design of the game is smart enough that enemies that play smart don't just always completely destroy you. In some Final Fantasy games, it's like, if the enemy did the thing, like its best move every turn, you could just never win. Imagine a version of... Which weapon does this... you want to replace? 3146. 3246. 2536. This is the same. Am I keeping either of these? No. I am not. Alright, so I guess we'll just arbitrarily keep the rune sword. Why not? So, okay. You get to a point in this game where you fight Lich in the Temple of Fiends, right? And Lich has the nuke spell. There's no reason he shouldn't just cast the nuke spell every turn of combat. If he was smart, that's what he would do. But because the game is designed a certain way, he's not allowed to do that. If he was, you could never ever win the fight, because he would just cast the nuke spell every turn, and after 2 turns of that, you would just be dead. So they had to design the game where he might decide to not do that. It's only because Lich is an idiot that you're allowed to finish this game. And that's kind of true of all JRPGs in some sense. I've never used a mime either. See, that's pretty good. That's a good story. That's some smart AI. That it's deep enough that it knew to try that. Like, you can't even be mad if that happens, right? Like, you can't even be mad. You just gotta... It's like, yup. That's the thing that just happened to me. I realize that Final Fantasy Tactics AI is dumb in the sense that if you know how it works, you can manipulate it in terms of, like, getting the people to move where you want them to. Because you're essentially clairvoyant if you have enough game knowledge. You know what the computer's going to do before it does it. And it kind of does irritate me sometimes when I see people, like, mocking AI in games like that. Like, yeah, it's because you know everything about the game that the guards in Metal Gear Solid appear to be blind. It's because you knew that guard was there, and you knew when he was going to turn, and you knew exactly how far away you were allowed to stand from him, that makes him appear blind. If you didn't know all that, and you're just running down the hallway, that mofo would have seen you, and then that AI would not have seemed to be stupid. Anyway. Alright, so we're just getting spells for Noah. We're getting Cure 2 and Heal. And then we're going to go to the Marsh Cave and loot in order to come... we can sell all the stuff in Melmond. I have never heard of this before. Is there like a YouTube community I can check out for Final Fantasy Tactics AI tournaments? Final Fantasy Tactics Salty Bet sounds amazing. Final Fantasy Tactics Fight Club Circuit? What is that, like it's a Twitch stream? Oh man, I might have to tune into that tonight. So like do people like enter their teams? Like you build a team and then you enter your team to see how it does? Is that the idea? Because that sounds rad. I know that the PSP version had like internet connectivity, like you could do PvP with other people over wireless, but I'd never actually played with it, never actually tried it out. Oh, it's preset teams? That might still be interesting, but I'm more interested in like, okay, you design your party and enter it into the tournament and it fights other people's parties. That's what I would be more interested in, I think. Alright, we go down to the floor 3 and we can get all the everything out of floor 3 now that we have the Mystic Key. It's been many years since I've done this at this stage in the game. Alright, I'm going to check that out later tonight. That sounds like a blast to watch. Do they get like really hype commentators? Like some real esports Joneses doing the play-by-play? We'll kill these because they're obnoxious. Actually, I don't know why I'm attacking with both of you. Who did Ziza attack? Let's do this whole round over again. I was very flabbergasted by what's happening here. There, that's better. I like how in Final Fantasy III they solved the problem of the spells you most want to cast being all the way at the bottom of the list by inverting the list. If all you have are first level spells, yeah, they're at the top. But as soon as you get second level spells, it puts the second level at the top and pushes it down. And then the remake of Final Fantasy III doesn't do that. So they fixed the problem and then they created the problem again. Alright, what can we get out of here? I always forget what's even in here. Oh, I didn't equip my silver armor. I did equip my silver armor. You can't equip iron. No, you can't equip anything. You can equip chain armor, which is still good, but... No, I didn't try that, Treble, but they're organized by spell level anyway. So I think it's hard-coded. And I never remember which of these rooms have treasures, so we're just going to poke our head into all of them. I know we are going to have to fight some wizards down here, but I don't think wizards are any problem now. They shouldn't be, anyway. Oh, this fight killed us earlier. It felt bad. Evening, Raz. So that's linked to another box somewhere. Ah, our first bracelet. Which we will give to, I think it's, is it better than chain? It's not better than chain armor, surely. 1549. No, not even close. So we'll just give that to Noah. I wonder why they would stop doing the commentary. The commentary is the fun part of the video, surely. Move. Move. I don't even say thank you. Back gets out my way. Don't even say nothing. That room's dead to me. A lot of ambushes happening today. Getting ambushed quite a lot down here. Paltry amounts of gold. Alright, and I think there's a silver bracelet in one of these rooms, which is like the best treasure in the dungeon. Oh, look, another ambush. Or you still have slots. Yeah, 2 of them. We'll use them up here. And use one of yours. You know what? No, you're going to cast Ruse. You can't get one shot in this fight. I'd rather have the spell slot for later. Nice. Good rolls for that fight. I like it. One of these rooms is empty. That one, okay. I bet it still has a spiked square in it, though, for whatever reason. Alright, that's it for level 1 cure spells. I got some cure 2, and I got several potions. I'm gonna run. I don't want to fight these. Thank you, Noah. I have like 17 of those silver daggers now. I remember there being a silver bracelet down here, but I might be mistaken about that. Oh, the bat moved out of my way preemptively. What, bro? Oh, the wizards are on this square. That's not good. Nice lit too. Again, got it out nice and early. But I've only got one more blast of that, so let's be careful. I knew it. I think I want... No, I want Zoc to have the silver, because Noah is less useful. I'm just going to kill this muck. This muckety muck. Come rolling up into my eye line and it's just one of you and you're like one monster. Of course I'm going to kill you. I'll take your 70 gold. Move. Bat knew it was good for it. Knew who was in charge. Oh boy, another ambush. Great. I think we will use a spell here though. We've got one more lit too, I think. It comes out early. That's what you want to see. I just got to get out of here alive. Should be a little easier now that we have all our new bracelets. And we'll go back to Elfland and see... should we... If we have enough money to buy fast on anybody. Ooh, I get to use a level 4 spell slot. My only level 4 spell slot. Beautiful. So level 4 magic costs 4,000 gold. And the spell that cures poison is level 4 magic. So 4,000 gold. The pure costs 75. So let's see. You would have to cast that spell 54 times before it pays for itself. I don't know if a normal playthrough of Final Fantasy 1 has ever needed 54 pure potions. Move. Move. You bastard. It's convenient to have it because you just have it forever and you don't ever have to worry about not having pure potions. There's nothing else a white mage is going to use level 4 spell slots on, so you might as well once you have all the money in the world. Poison is such an early game concern. You get to a point in the game, you're like if somebody gets poisoned, you're like, oh, I forgot that was a thing in this game. Kill the grips. So we're going to go to Elfland and sell off our excess loot. And maybe buy some level 4 magic. We are going to want fast before we get to Lich, I think. We're going to want a fast Ziza, probably. Because I don't think Corey will have level 5 magic by the time we get to Lich to cast Fire 3. Although, I don't know, if we're going to commit to looting the Earth Cave beforehand, we might. We may yet. I do think more games in general should make liberal use of the word terminated. Very satisfying, killing a monster and terminated. Alright, what are we selling? We're selling everything that's not equipped, that's not the power staff. Just running through my list real quick here to make sure that's true. That is true. Okay. So sell this dagger. And this dagger. I'm going to sell this because it's worth more. If you can equip both of them, you might as well. And you want to keep that, and you want to keep both of those. Oh, that's what I had equipped anyway. Okay, fair. What kind of money am I looking at? Ooh. That's a decent chunk. You've got all that equipped. You can't use this, or this, or this. You want that. You want those. All right.
We have given all of our gold to the barrel-shaped man.
That was fun. Okay. And who gets fast? Corey and Zoc both get fast. I'm going to buy it for Zoc here. Sail to Melmond and save there. When we pick this up next time, we can start plugging away at the Earth Cave. After we kill these nerds. I think spells at Melmond cost 8,000, I want to say. I think that's correct. And it's possible after we loot the Earth Cave, we'll have enough money to buy Fire 3 for Zoc. Actually, I'm going to put off looting the Earth Cave until we beat Lich, because once we beat Lich, we can go get spellcasting items. You know what? Whatever. These odd eyes, their lives are forfeit. I've got spell slots to burn. Let's just get rid of them. Worth it for 51 experience points. Yeah, because after we kill Lich, we can go get some spellcasting items. That'll make looting the Earth Cave much, much easier. Last Lit 2? Nah, you've got a couple left. Alright, that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with me tonight. I'll see everybody in the next stream. Peace out and sleep well.